You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. Another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast, a weekly, sort of, kind of, not really, almost weekly topical podcast where myself, your host as always, Tim K.A. Trotter, talks about various things with various people. My various people this week are, we're joined by special guest. Am I calling you by your normal name or your fancy YouTube name? What do you want? What do you want from me?
I go by Meister Keen. That's my online title for all online things.
Joined by Meister Keen, who may or may not be a barrel-chested man.
I'm not gonna sing it.
It's cool. I have it on recordings for outtakes.
Of course.
Too late.
Of course you do.
Yes.
Oh my God, Tim.
And then giggling at us, not quite in the background, but just a little bit to my left, is the one, the only, the lovely, the illustrious, the Darth Vader wearing t-shirt with a BB-8 necklace, drinking from a penny arcade teacup, Jessica Mello.
Hello. That's a very descriptive way.
Well, you're like right here. I'm literally just naming things as I look at you.
You painted the picture, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I can see her now.
Mm-hmm.
Glowing, wavy auburn hair.
No. It's almost black.
Sparkling blue eyes.
Yes, you got that right.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I got that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, her eyes are pretty damn sparkly.
And her full heart-shaped face.
It's round.
Ish.
Damn. All right. Well, 1 out of 3. Not bad.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that scrying skill.
Yeah. Well, I just have one question for you, since I've not seen you in some time. How many inches thick deep is your beard?
It's Heart of Darkness in there, dude.
Love it.
like we gotta throw a chain down there, perhaps with an anchor, before we hit skin. That deep?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be measured in fathoms.
That's fantastic. Awesome, dude. Well, alrighty, folks. This is the show. This is what normally our normal shows should be. There's been a variety of specials that have been just randomly thrown up over the weeks, but we're going to try and get back to a more regular, scheduled programming here on the Fork in Your Ear. If you don't know, we try to bring different topics to the table in the areas of life, technology, entertainment, and gaming. And we're going to be tackling them in that particular order tonight. So why don't we kick off life experiences here? And you know, life is not necessarily like experiences or stories, but it can be things that we've observed through just going through life. My particular one that I was going to bring up is I was at Chase Bank today depositing some money for my boss who I work for, and I don't do any banking at Chase, but I couldn't help but be struck by the fact that when you do banking at the drive up at Chase, it's like a separate like gas stationy post like some distance away from the actual building where the people are, and they're just connected by obviously a series of vacuum tubes, and then they're there on the video monitor with the screens and stuff talking to you and seeing you and you're seeing them. And I just couldn't help but be struck by how awkward that kind of is. And yes, I realize, you know, technology is advancing and we're, you know, getting into this society where, hey, we don't have to see people unless separated by tubing and pavement and like some distance and like technology and cables and CCTV circuits or internet circuits or however they have their thing rigged up. And I just you know, I just thought, wow, we are that much closer to many scenes from that famous science fiction movie, The Fifth Element, you know? And I just
Kill all humans.
I don't think that was that movie, but yeah, kill all
Kill
humans.
all humans.
Yeah, you know, Futurama or just about
We
it.
have replaced your inefficient bank tellers.
Well, I mean, you know, the robots haven't replaced them yet, and sometimes I wish they would. Because, you know, bank tellers.
Yeah, bank tellers. We have replaced your inefficient DMV employees.
Well,
I like that.
That would be pretty fantastic, right?
That's nice.
So how do you guys feel about things like banking and stuff being more and more replaced by inhuman ATMs and communications through video screens and things on a via to real people in this progressively technological world we live in?
I don't know, man. I'll go ahead and weigh in first a little bit. I mean, relatively recently, like not too many months ago, I went and got an account started at BECU, credit union.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it was kind of nice. You go in, you sit down, and there's a person, and there's a desk, and they say hi and shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a human level interaction, and you can say stuff like, "So I can set up this card so that it won't let me overdraw," right?
Right.
Set that up for me, and you know, etc. You can make some wishes known on like a human level with some actual communication, and the person will understand and do the things for you. That's really nice. And I've had a generally good banking experience with BECU since then. Although since that point, it has involved absolutely zero human interaction. The account got set up, and since then it's just done the things. I go to the ATM, I do my business, I go online, I do my business there. It's required no adjustment since then, so it hasn't really required any human element to make anything work. And I'm okay with that. But at the same time, I really liked at the beginning of the whole thing, getting to actually talk to somebody. It was pretty cool. It was pretty nice. I actually felt it actually made me feel important. You know, I'm that guy who's never going to put more than a few $100s at a time in that account, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I don't feel that important, but it made me feel important to be sat down at a desk with a well-dressed person who shook my hand and was friendly.
I can.
I don't think a machine will ever really replicate that.
For sure, dude.
So-
And I can literally almost one for one share your experience, because I also one of the places that I have do my personal business with is BECU. And I remember that same experience of sitting down with a nice person, and he was warm and lovely and set up all the things, and I got the cards, and I probably got his number, email, or something in a folder somewhere. But like I don't think I've seen that person in like 2 years or something now. And so
Yeah.
it's sort of like it's just like, hey BECU ATM, how's it going? Oh, you're not doing as good as Wanda, you know, because I've named them now. On the left, on the left there. Oh, I see you've got the reflectors, so I can see if a rapist is coming up behind me to take my money. Okay, I see your games, ATMs. How about you, Jessica?
Well, unlike you two, I actually bank at Chase.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're
I mean-
familiar with the tube system.
Yeah,
How do they fit them in there?
I've actually never used that. I've
Oh.
actually kind of had more contact with people being at Chase. I've been with Chase for like 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
I've had more contact with people. They did the whole thing, same thing. They sat me down at a desk and got all my accounts set up. And I've gone in to talk to real people a few times for things that I've needed, that I've actually had to talk to a real person for, and kind of, you know, been able to explain what's going on and what I need, and they're able to do it really fast. And get my stuff done and in and out. I don't know how a machine can do that. You actually can analyze what I need based off my situation. And
They're gonna add a metal arm that's gonna extend itself outwards, and you'll be able to shake like a cold metallic hand at some
No,
point.
they'll
That's-
put a heater in it. They'll put a little heating coil.
Heater.
And then it will burn somebody, and there'll be a class action lawsuit.
Most likely. But I mean, there are times I think, you know, the machines would be great, because there are times I don't really want to talk to people. I'm antisocial sometimes. I don't want to be around people. But having access to a person is nice at the same time.
Sure.
So, I mean, the virtual, you know, the monitors is nice. I mean, I don't know. Again, I've never used that tube system. I've never had a need for it.
Well, there you go.
Well, all right.
Well, that was my topic in the life category on our show here at the Fork of Year. Who else wants a turn at the wheel? Is it a wheel? I'm calling it a wheel.
Maybe,
Spin
yeah.
the wheel. Step right up.
Well,
Get
I've
your
got
things, sonny.
But what kind of wheel is it? Is it wooden? Is it
It's
metallic?
clearly a type of wheel that you spin around, and you put a thingamajig in the thing to get the thing. Honey.
It is a wheel of terrible misfortune and
Oh,
great
I
power.
don't want to spin the wheel.
And then the ties that bind will do things to us in the darkness. I really keep fucking up that line from the Lord of the Rings.
You do keep fucking up that line.
Every time. Every friggin' time.
Are you trying to do the little poem about the ring itself?
No, in the dark it binds us. Or
Yeah.
in the dark binds us.
That's
In the
right.
darkness binds us?
Yes.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
And in the darkness binds them.
And
And-
then Picard
Never
gets
mind.
out and says, engage. No? I'm mixing things up.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else should go.
Okay, so PAX.
Yes.
PAX?
Yes.
Can we talk PAX now?
Yes.
I worked PAX. I was a volunteer at PAX doing PAX stuff, and damn, it was cool.
Maybe you should give our new listeners a little background on what the hell PAX is, so they don't think that, you know, you worked in a disease ward or something of that nature.
Because I worked in the PAX. Yes,
The pox,
Poxatory.
the ye old black
So-
plague,
So many people.
black toe, rough
Rise
foot,
dying, moaning.
Oh, and trench foot.
trench foot.
Yeah, that's about all the black feet. Yeah, trench foot.
Is that what it was called?
Many limbs were lost that day. No, really. PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo, or it used to be called the Penny Arcade Expo. Now it's just PAX. They're kind of trying to separate the brands of Penny Arcade and PAX as like two different entities, but An arcade is a website devoted to video game enthusiasts. They do a web comic. They do a lot of other content. It's all about games, board games, video games, computer games, console stuff, whatever. If it's a game, they love it. So they made a convention, an expo, and I think its first year was like 2004, and it was tiny.
Mm.
And then it grew exponentially to the point where all of the PAXs together get like 300,000 attendees, I think, if you were like to count all of the PAXs.
Really? Is that all? Isn't there 4 now? I know ours in Seattle is pushing 80,000, isn't it?
It reached 80,000 this year.
Oh,
that's how many tickets were sold.
Oh, there you go.
And it's more like 100,000 in Boston. South in San Antonio is a little bit smaller, and Australia, I don't know. That I'm assuming that Australia is like up there in the tens somewhere.
Yeah,
mid tens of thousands. But you know, that's like a lot of attendees. It's a lot of people going to the thing.
For sure.
And that's also, you have to kind of take into account the fact that those tickets sell out about 30 seconds before they go on sale.
It's true. You sometimes you gotta know a guy who knows a guy.
Sometimes. Basically, volunteering for the show is the way I get to go to the show, because otherwise I don't think I would get to go. I would encourage anybody at all to like watch the Twitter feed, whatever, just like jump on it as soon as the tickets go on sale. Do it, because PAX is amazing and you want to attend it. Definitely. And it's possible, if you are watching, you know, you can get in there and you can buy a ticket. It's possible to do that. In any case, PAX was a hell of an experience. It has been every year I've gone. And I've never gone as an attendee. I've always been a volunteer. So I've kind of been able to work behind the scenes, get to know people who run the show and operate things. And it's been just a blast. This year in particular, the expo hall is kind of the heart of PAX. It's where the developers come to show their wares to all the attendees. So I got to run a section of the expo hall. I had, I want to say like 40, 50 booths that were my area, and I had like 10 other volunteers working under me to manage and help that area. And so it was sort of this...
How did your minions do?
My minions were, most of them were actually new. They were new to...
Oh my.
They were new to Expo Hall, or they were new to being exhibitor assistants, as in like, you know, people who help the exhibitors put on their exhibits and help the attendees, you know, and keep traffic flowing through the place and things like that. Traffic, like literally body traffic through the Expo Hall, becomes a problem because there are just so many people looking at so many pretty flashy things, you know.
Indeed.
You know, people will find interesting things and then stop and stare.
Now,
in the middle of the aisle sometimes.
Indeed. Now, don't they call you people, volunteers, by a particular swanky name at this particular convention?
They call us... Yeah, anybody who's been to PAX, anybody who knows about PAX knows about us. We are the Enforcers. We enforce.
Not to be confused with that particular set of villains from the Spider-Man comics. Just saying.
You know, there was kind of a brand battle that went on there. It got ugly, but anyway, it's all right. Everything got settled out of court. Anyway, so the enforcers are the volunteers who run the show. They're the guys that do the grunt work of making sure that things don't, you know, fires. We don't want them. So enforcers. And the watchword of the enforcers is that the show is for the attendees. It's all about making the experience of the attendees as good as possible. Oh. So that was my job, and it was like a job. It was like it is kind of a full-time job for that weekend, or at least it was for me. A little bit more part-time for most enforcers, but when you have a little bit more responsibility, they give you a job where you don't really get to attend the show anymore.
But was that ultimately enjoyable for you?
Oh God, it was great.
Oh yeah.
I can't even explain why. I mean, it was work. It was all out, 100%. It was just work, but it was exhilarating. It was tons of fun. I have always I've kind of I've learned that where it comes to shows and events and things like that, I generally have a better time working, volunteering, doing stuff than just being there to enjoy. You know, I've never liked being a spectator as much as I have been a participant. So for me, it was just like maximum participation. I took the knob and it just like cranked it all the way over. And it was great. I got to help a lot of people have a good time, and I got to help a lot of exhibitors, you know, not worry about stuff so much while they were, you know, showing their games off to the attendees. You know,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What was a couple of what was a couple of key points or particular highlights for you doing the enforcer gig and running a floor?
Highlights.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest highlight would have to be the acknowledgement that I got from management. Show management, after all was said and done, you know, since I had a zone and I was the leader of that zone, I was that special class of enforcer. I was a zone lead. So I actually had some responsibility. So after the whole show was over, I got to have a sit down with show management. And I basically, you know, I laid out for them how the show went. They asked me for feedback on various things. I gave them that. And, you know, they were impressed with how well I did, and they told me that. And it was just really cool to get that. Like, oh, wow, you mean I did a good job?
Nice.
You know? And it kind of made there were moments that were hectic. There were times that were a little bit heartbreaking, you know, dealing with people who were like people are messy. People are always messy. There's always messes connected with people. So people get upset. Weird things happen sometimes, and you have to kind of suddenly get delicate and do interesting things to untangle what happened. And I can say that having done that and having worked my ass off and handled all these weird, delicate things and done all of this, having done that and then getting an acknowledgement like, wow, dude, we're really impressed with how well you did. It made all of it made it all just that much more worth it. And it made me want to come back and do it again.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, yeah, PAX is just run by just solid gold people. They're just amazing. You know, to have the management people come to me and say, hey, so this show is a pretty good show, but is there any way that we could make ourselves more available, or like, you know, how did we do as the management?
Like, hey, peons, are we sucking for you? Like, let us know.
You know, the emperor steps down and he says, my people, I have for you a question. How am I doing?
In my head, for some reason, that was Emperor Palpatine. And I was just like, why the hell would he step down? Not to force lightning a crowd. It'd be like,
You there,
unlimited power!
You there, stormtrooper.
Yeah.
How is your experience stormtrooping?
Storm. We keep on trooping, sir.
Yes.
This is awful.
All
right, this bit's done. Next segment. Right. Next segment. Terrible.
How are your kids?
No. All right. We're going to move on to our technology segment.
Technology. All right.
Yes.
This is the segment where I have nothing.
Oh, you have nothing?
I'm nothing.
Oh, okay. Did you have Anything in technology?
Mostly just how much I hate the new iOS 10.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate this new update. Ugh.
Well, I mean, we could briefly touch upon that. I know Keenan's an avid Android user. So iOS 10 is out. It is amazing in a lot of areas, but then it is some major fucking steps back. Like, you're probably familiar by now, Keenan, since it's been around for 10 fucking years, that on Apple products, there, you hit a thing and then you slide to unlock it. You know what I mean?
That's gone.
Yeah, they got rid of that. I don't know why, and it is
So-
confusing everybody and their goddamn dog.
Like, when I updated, it literally took me 5 minutes to figure out how the hell to open up my phone.
I couldn't even figure it out, and I'm an Apple person. I was like, what the?
And then I was
What do
like,
you-
just started clicking random buttons, and oh, look, I gotta click the home button again.
It's very not so great. But other than that, it does have a lot of great features. I think the new, almost ridiculously too much additives to the stock text messaging app
I hate
is
it.
pretty cool. Oh, you hate it? Oh,
I
you
hate
just
it.
hate everything? Oh, okay, I see how it is. I'll let you on my
It's
show,
so-
and you stab me in the face.
It's so confusing. I don't know how to work half the stuff still. And then I actually send things I don't mean to send. Like, what the hell is this?
I thought you were getting the hang of it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not with, like, when you get that little black screen and if you tap it a certain amount of times with different numbers of fingers.
The touch thingy.
I hate it. I don't like it. Why do I have it on my phone? I don't want it.
Yeah, the touch thingy is particularly. Yeah. Well, anyway. So that was not really the topic. So I guess I'm the only one who's actually got technology things.
Uh-huh.
So I have two things. One, PlayStation VR. That's PlayStation Virtual Reality is out next Thursday. I'm ever so excited. I guess just briefly, when I was at PAX as a normal person who got a ticket from a friend of a friend, I tried all of the virtual reality headsets, and it's well known that the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive, which are the competing virtual headsets, have better specs and allegedly better screens and all this sort of stuff versus the infinitely much cheaper PlayStation VR that's running on PlayStation 4 hardware, which is, of course, not as powerful as high-end PCs. And I tried all of the headsets multiple times at PAX on multiple games. And in my opinion, thoroughly labeled as such, the PlayStation VR, it's just a fucking better headset, like in every respect. Like the things that I noticed against the Oculus Rift and the Vive were that, like, when you would move your head, it seemed like there was motion blur, and it could have just been the games, but I kind of think not. There's motion blur when you're moving your head around in virtual space. Like the screens couldn't refresh as fast as you were jerking your head, which seemed kind of weird considering they're publicly out now and they've obviously been in development a very long time. The controllers for the Oculus and the Vive, they just suck, and they're clunky and they don't work as good. And the PlayStation VR, which is using an old piece of tech from the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3 Move controllers, ironically, they worked flawlessly in 3D space. And the headset, while gigantic in comparison, was 1,000 times more comfortable than either the Oculus Rift or the Vive. And there's just something about however they have the screens tuned or whatever on the PSVR that I didn't see any of the motion blurry things that seemed apparent to me on the other headsets. And I was just able to, after about 10, 15 minutes, I was just able to forget that I was wearing a headset, which is what you want in virtual reality. And I can't say the same of the other two. So I'm super excited for the PlayStation VR, which comes in next Thursday publicly. I know the reviews are hitting today. I think IGN gave it an 8.5 just on a hardware thing.
Yeah.
It's high for them.
Yeah, it is pretty high for them. And I know it's particularly interesting because I think the thing to me that stands out about the PlayStation VR, other than the hardware that I've physically played around with now multiple times, is its launch lineup. It has like all of the tasty exclusives that would get any sort of geek or nerd excited about virtual reality, anything, let alone gaming. And I think it's very smart of Sony to say, "Hey, yo, Oculus has got, Eve Valkyrie, which I think is also coming to the PSVR, and I don't even know what the HTC Vive has. I think they're tied up with a Valve, and I think they have some sort of portal thing on there. But PlayStation VR is hitting next week, and they're going, oh yeah, here we got like 50 titles, and here's a Batman one where you can be Batman and throw batarangs. And oh yeah, you want to fly an X-wing fighter in virtual reality space? Oh yeah, we got you covered. Oh yeah, and by the way, if that's not your thing, you can be a Star Trek bridge commander. How's that? How's that for virtual reality? And then we got a bunch of other stuff too. And so I just think that that's incredibly smart on Sony's
I
part.
think you had me at the Star Trek one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm totally getting all three of those because like I have to have them, need them.
Nerd.
Yeah, well, geek. But anyway, so that's my thought on it. How do you guys feel about VR? Because after next week, all of the main VR people will now have their hats into the rings. How do you guys feel about VR moving forward?
I think probably the next generation of VR is going to have a lot figured out. Especially the next generation of VR games is going to have a lot figured out that the current generation doesn't have figured out. I mean, one of the main problems with VR is just interface.
Sure.
How do you make a working interface, a game interface in that? Another one is motion. If your character is moving through an environment, of course, that's a huge element of most games. The like turning your head, viewing things, that's hugely enhanced by VR.
Indeed.
And that's cool. That's just cool. I like that. I want to be able to turn my head and look around the environment and like find some interesting thing in the game environment and like just crouch down and get really close down on it and see if the texture is good enough for me to read the text or something.
Indeed.
I totally want that.
I want to say something on the turning point, and that is definitely one thing that is a complete hindrance in 2016 VR. Is there's fucking cables coming out the back of whatever headset you get.
Right.
And that's just the way it is until they figure out how to get enough data transferred to bring the latency down on some sort of wireless rig.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the next big step, I'd think, making the things wireless.
Right.
True. And battery technology has to keep up with this because.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
You don't have cables. You don't have cables. You're gonna have a battery pack somewhere.
Oh yeah, and then that'll add a lot of weight to the headsets.
Exactly. Maybe hanging off your neck, I guess, or something like that.
Sure, just a dongle, one for each ear.
It'll be a new battery pack earring, like a matching pair.
I don't know why, but the immediate words that come to mind are fallopian tubing. But
why did you?
That doesn't have anything to do with that at all.
Thanks for sharing.
It's just what I thought. I'm sorry for my thought.
Anyway, but my thought on this is, if you use a controller and move your avatar in an environment where you've got your head immersed in this environment, and suddenly your whole viewpoint moves because you hit the thumbstick, that could be, especially like you can't have view bobbing in the midst of that, or there's a lot you can't do to give a sense of motion in the game world, because that would throw off the player. It would throw off the person who's got the headset on.
You
You
know,
know?
it's super interesting you bring that up because I just randomly happened to come across a YouTube video of Tycho Plays, who's Jerry Hulkins, who's one of the co-creators of the Penny Arcade comic strip and PAX and all that stuff. And he did a demo with a developer, I can't remember which developer, for a PlayStation VR launch game called Wayward Skies, which you'd love because it's all super steampunky and planes and stuff. Hell, I love it. I'm convinced to pick it up. And it's a third person game, so it's not first person like the majority of VR. And it's platformer that then switches to first person on puzzles. And they had a long talk about how they change perspectives, and you can't. It's much better to have the camera moving forwards or inwards because that limits motion sickness with people. And they had a long talk about the different challenges of exactly what you're talking about there with the movement and changing of movement and perspective, and how do you convey speed without making a player nauseous and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I think that like first person view is the first thing you think of when you think of VR. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
am
for
in the
sure.
head of my character, looking around from the perspective of my character's head. That's the first thing you think of. But honestly, I think that I would probably personally do better, and I think that a game would run better in a third person mode, where you've got kind of this, you
That,
know,
I've that's what I've heard. I've heard
you
that
know,
the third person games, when done correctly, are just as impressive as the first person ones. What's it? I think it's the ukulele game that's on Kickstarter from all of the ex Rare Banjo Kazooie developers who are delivering uh, what people are hyping up to be is the true spiritual sequel to Banjo Kazooie, which is hailed as one of the greatest platformers, 3D platformers besides Mario 64.
yeah,
And a lot of people are saying, because that's third person as well, that's just as impressive, and it's being made with VR in mind.
yeah. One thing that I'm just going to make a prediction, and it's kind of based upon my own preferences. The way I would like to do VR is that you're going to see a lot more third person going on. You're going to see less of this action with the sticks in midair, and more of your traditional interface is just like a controller or even mouse and keyboard. I would prefer that. I would love to play like Doom or something where or God, just I would like to play something where I get to use my mouse and keyboard and control a character that way, because I know how a character moves with mouse and keyboard. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tracking with that, but using my headset for look, maybe with mouse for aim while you use your headset for look, something like that. I would
See,
really appreciate an interface like that.
now I'm gonna sort of squash that there, and obviously this is from a different platform and a very unfinished game. But I played a first-person superhero game where you could fly and stuff, and it was exactly that on the HTC Vive. And I had two controllers, and they had some sticks or something on them and some motion crap. And I controlled each of my hands, and I moved with one set of controls, strafing like traditional controls, and then looking with another, while also being able to look independently with my head. Um, and it was really fucking difficult. It was really jarring. So to try to do that with the keyboard, I don't think that's gonna work quite the way you would want it to, Keenan.
Oh well. Fair
Maybe,
enough. I'm willing to be wrong on this,
I
but
mean, maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, prototype game and uh, very new platform, but there you go.
thing is, it's it's hard to be doing anything else and have your headset on, and it's hard to have a space that's set up for VR, like real VR. You need
Sure.
a pretty big space to do really big VR games, ones where you move around and swing your arms and
Well,
stuff.
and that's the thing. This first generation of corded headsets is all going to be, you're either standing still or you're sitting down. There's not going to be a lot of movement.
Yeah,
And even the HTC Vive, which does have some movement thing, because I believe you can set 4 sensors in a particular specified square to sort of like box you in and track where you are within a thing, has a limit because of the sensors and stuff. So I just don't think we're gonna see that this generation. Like next generation,
Yeah.
when we've got wireless headsets and probably some sort of thing that says, "Hey, you're about to hit a fucking wall in the real world. Please back up."
Right. Well,
You know?
okay. So that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm looking for, really. I don't think I'm going to invest in this generation of VR at all. I'm going to stay out of it because the interface problems and the view problems and the game genres that are possible in this generation, they're going to explore it and they're going to experiment, and the early adopters are going to do a lot of the experimentation for me. Thank you, early
Sure.
adopters.
It'll be just like the Wii.
Yeah. Maybe, hopefully. I mean, it would be amazing if VR got as popular.
Yeah.
And then our next generation is going to be
cerebral implants. Yes.
Oh, the only thing that's running through my mind the entire time I'm listening to you guys talking is a Sword Art Online situation.
You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
You haven't seen that anime?
No.
Basically, they have virtual headsets, basically like, the whole wires and crap. And their brains get trapped inside the game and they can't take the helmets off because if they do, they die. It fries their brain. Like in a literal sense.
Awesome. So
luckily we don't have that.
In closing, PlayStation VR out next week. Won't fry your brain if you take the headset off.
It isn't like unjacking from the Matrix.
Yes, it isn't like that.
That was like literally the only thing running through my head.
All right.
Becoming trapped in a crappy thing. Yeah, that would not be awesome.
Indeed. All right, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsor and join us after the break for entertainment talk and gaming talk. The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99. All right, and welcome back to The Fork in Your Ear. All right, we're going to be covering entertainment first. I do believe you had a pretty good one there, Jessica. Why don't you hit us up with it?
Yes, the new Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales teaser just landed, and it was badass, number one. Mm-hmm. It looked really good. I'm a little excited because the last Pirates was utter crap, and I hated it. I'm hoping this is a new good revival to the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
It has been like a while.
Yeah.
Since the last one.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a friggin' while.
But it looks really good. We got like paper ghost pirate
yeah, so
things.
The trailer was only a minute and a half long. No Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, or look into any of the other familiar characters. It was some pretty boy locked up, we assume pirate, and he was on a ship and then burnt up, like when you toast, like when you catch a newspaper on fire and it's sort of that like the ashy embers of like it's still burning but it's totally like flaky, like ghost paper pirate things on fire, like came out of the walls, and this clearly Spaniard pirate was telling the pretty boy to deliver a message to Jack Sparrow or whatever. Something. I mean, what else is new? People are always coming out of the depths of the ocean and threatening Jack Sparrow's life.
what I've read is that this is actually going to center around Orlando Bloom's character, William Turner.
Is he back for this one?
Yes, he is back
Do we
for
know
this one.
that's a fact?
Yes, he is.
Y'all talk. I'm going to look this shit
He
up.
is back for this one. From what I've read, because he is the new captain of, what's the ship's name from the second one? Flying Dutchman.
Flying Dutchman.
That is going to center around him, that he's supposed to come back, and these ghosts are really looking after him. See,
it does have Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so this is what I've read. It's only rumor, so whether or not...
Well, no, this is IMDb.
Well, no, I mean, with the whole plot that I just explained that you probably didn't even listen to.
Oh,
so, Dead Men Tell No Tales. There's got to be, like, at some point, somebody's got to, like, spring out of a grave and say, I do what I want, and then start telling a story.
What? Is that from a thing? Am I missing the thing that's from?
You're missing the joke, man.
God damn it.
Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Oh.
Oh, come on.
I'm just not getting it.
Never mind.
Sorry, I'm looking at the
fell
IMDb. Anyway,
that
because he is the bringer of souls to the netherworld or whatever, I'm sure he's gonna have a big part.
Yeah.
So.
So, of the returning cast, we have Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. We have Kevin McNally as Gibbs. We all remember Gibbs. Classic. Jeffrey Rush as Barbossa is back. Fantastic. And...
It's like all new people after that.
Well, that dude was in the thing. The Martin Kleba, who plays Marty, who's the dwarf pirate.
That's right.
Who was in, I think, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or four of them? It might have been on all of them, for all I know. That looks like the only returning cast. That's, of course, been announced officially. So that's a thing. Anyway, more pirates. Sounds great.
Pirates is good. I love pirates.
Yeah, pirates is good.
Jess is very excited for this one.
Fantastic. Do you have anything in the entertainment category there Keenstar?
I was going to mention Luke Cage, just the fact that it dropped on Netflix and it's there, and I started watching the first episode, but then I had to stop because we started recording this thing. Damn it, Tim.
I've not seen it yet, but for all Marvel Cinematic Universe news, you can check out my other podcast, Rising Tide, a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, where we'll discuss all about Marvel's Luke Cage, as well as this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the forthcoming, which looks balls amazing, Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, you should check out that podcast. It's a good podcast. I know, because I was on it once.
And I got roped into it as well, so you'll hear my voice.
You guys don't have to sound super canned about it.
No, really. I mean,
it's good. I enjoy it. I actually get
to honest opinion. That's actually a really.
I get to nerd out and it not be weird. So
cool.
That's
always a plus.
Yeah, that's a plus anywhere when you get to just be a nerd and nerd out, and nobody judges because they are also nerding out.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. One other bit in the entertainment realm on Luke Cage, even though I haven't seen it. It apparently broke Netflix's servers on Friday and some of Saturday. So if, the world was unable to log into Netflix, I guess everybody was fucking watching Luke Cage. Everybody.
Planet Earth and their dog wanted to watch it. Yeah. So that's fantastic. The whole cinematic universe, just the whole thing, the Netflix shows, the movies, it's just been freaking great.
Indeed.
Marvel is just so far ahead of DC on this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some areas.
I would say they are. I will say this. No, I'll say this. In DC's defense, I'll say this. DC makes fantastic animated movies. Their animated movies are amazing, and they're way better than what you see coming out of Marvel.
Yeah, that's for sure. I actually have that as a thing here, believe it or not. So in terms of the DC entertainment universe, as they're calling it, that's apparently its official title, or the TV.
Can't they just call it the DC Cinematic Universe?
Because then,
That's
because
fine.
DC, so you'd have DCCU. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Yeah,
DCCU.
DC will see you later. Anyway,
DCCCU. DCCU.
See you.
DCC's you.
but then they could go peace and DCC cyst. Never mind.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Those letters.
In Russia, DCCU.
So while so
That was good.
I feel like I missed something, which I will catch.
Jess is no. Jess, say it again. Say it again, Jess.
I can't do it again. I'm laughing so hard.
In Soviet Russia, DCCU.
Delayed laughter because they had to explain a joke to me. That makes me the most terrible person on this fucking show.
No. Repeating a joke is cool. Explaining a joke, that's
like,
not
twice
cool.
it has to
Repeating
explain
it,
shit to you.
Yeah, fair enough.
repeating it is just aging.
I'm sorry.
fine.
It's part of your voice is a little bit cut off by my monitor headphones. It's okay. So one thing that DC is currently killing at right now, other than the animated movies, which they will just always keep killing at because they have Warner Brothers Animation, and they're the only ones doing real animation anymore, it seems like, is I believe that their TV DC universe is fucking crushing it right now. And that's not to dismiss the fact that the Netflix Marvel shows are amazing. And I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has finally come into its own.
I watched The Flash. I watched the first couple episodes of The Flash, and it did not hook me.
No?
I watched the
show
first season. That was it.
I mean, I could give it the benefit of the doubt, and I could watch more of The Flash and see if it develops. But so far, from what I've seen, nothing about that show really grabs me. It doesn't. I had just come out of watching Daredevil. I watched Daredevil, and then I ran out of Daredevil, and I went to watch Flash.
Well,
Flash was like,
that's a tonal shock, because the Flash is sort of like light and peppy, and Daredevil is grim and mopey and bloody.
Light and peppy. I can buy light and peppy, but it just kind of seems stupid. Like the jokes didn't work for me. I didn't, and the pacing was bad. I mean, how can you rush pacing on a TV show when you've got dozens of episodes ahead of you?
Because Barry has to run, Keenan. That's why. Barry has to run. Okay.
There could have been a lot more character development, more introduction, more on the world that went on, and Tim
likes the Flash.
Huh?
Obviously.
Tim likes the TV show Flash. And he never liked the Flash in the animated TV series that came before it. I mean,
I will say this though:
he thought he was entertaining and all that sort of stuff, and he watched the movies and all that stuff.
I like the Flash as a character. I love the Flash in the comics. Love him.
Okay.
The way they handled Flash in Injustice, it's great.
Well,
even though Injustice is terrible, Flash in Injustice is great.
Injustice isn't terrible.
It's kind of dark, dude. I mean, it's more dark than it even. It's just.
Do you mean terrible in the sense of that it's horrific?
It's
because it's definitely that kind of terrible.
It is. Whatever. This is not. I don't even want to get into that because Tim's got way beat on DC and Marvel knowledge in general in the comics universe. But
this is true.
Tim's more of an authority than I am. I would accept his opinion on those things.
Well, anyway, I think someday when you're feeling the need to be pepped up, you should give Flash another shot. Anyway, I think they're killing it in the TV realm because they have Flash and they have Supergirl and they have Arrow and they have Gotham, even though I've only seen the first season, and Lucifer, which is actually a DC thing, which is fucking phenomenal.
Okay. I'll give you this one. DC is killing it in this particular way. Wonder Woman.
Oh, sure.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman movie that's coming out, the trailers that I've seen for it, everything I know about that movie so far tells me that it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be the first time we've really had a really, really good superhero movie centered around a female superhero character.
Yes, right? Seems to be something that Marvel's particularly late to the game on, with the exception that Marvel did have that Agent Peggy Carter TV series, even
That
though
was awesome. That was actually
they
good.
canceled it.
Yeah,
To be fair, they got 2 seasons out of that, so that's something.
that was good. That was good.
Although the scuttlebutt on that, even though this is not the Marvel podcast, the scuttlebutt on that is that there's going to be a Black Widow solo film,
Is there?
and Joss Whedon has openly said, "I will direct and write the shit out of that." So there's
What?
that. Yes,
You're talking about the return of the Whedon,
I am indeed the one, the
and
only, my true
he,
master.
the chosen one, is coming back to direct a Black Widow film.
That's the scuttlebutt.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Despite
If
saying
that's
I'm
true.
totally done with the Marvel Universe because it's so hard. But he has said, yeah, I would love a crack at that Black Widow solo movie.
Dude.
And
What is
given his history with Marvel, I'm sure they've just like thrown him at it already. It's not
Probably.
not surprising.
If that scuttlebutt has reached Marvel and Disney, they're probably like on the phone with him right now. They're at his house right now, banging on the door, going, Joss, you promised. You said. We want you back, Joss. We need you.
Well, that's interesting to make the Marvel executives so weepy. So one other
Marvel
bit.
execs listening. Sorry.
Wow, so meager. So one other bit of entertainment news in movies and realms and stuff that at least we're talking about this week is the title of the Ben Affleck, the Batfleck solo film has been revealed. It will be titled The Batman, and Batman will face off against his legendary nemesis, Deathstroke, which unfortunately has kind of already been done to death in video games and comics and, other TV shows not starring Batman, and yet they're still fighting Deathstroke. So it's an interesting choice that's what he's going with, because not only is Ben Affleck playing Batman, but he's also writing and directing this Batman solo film. So that'll be interesting.
It is interesting. I color me not excited in particular.
Yeah,
not yet. If I learn more about it, I might get interested.
Yeah, I mean it's like a ways off. It's like 2019 or 2020 or something.
But I am interested. I will say that I'm really, really interested in the Justice League.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
That looks really good, and the whole character of Aquaman.
Oh yeah,
for decades. It's
oh
just
goodness,
needed,
I am so excited for this Aquaman. You have no idea.
Yeah.
I want Khal Drogo.
Yeah. Nothing like Khal Drogo, king of fucking Atlantis. Let's go.
Yeah. The Dothraki Sea is now it's ocean. Never mind.
Well, and the other thing for sci-fi geeks, who watched him get his start in Stargate Atlantis, that dude is fucking funny. Like, he can deliver comedic lines, and we know he can do serious as fuck with Khal
Drogo.
Yeah, that guy. That's Dothraki. There we go. I can at least pronounce that right. Suck
Game
it,
of Thrones, man.
Internet.
I watched all of it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that he can do both those, and, he's bringing the weight of, a king. And the other thing, about that particular thing is, like, especially if you've watched some of the, I think it was Aquaman, Throne of Atlantis or something, like, that story was dark as fuck. There was, like, betrayals and, like, spoiler alert, he gets his hand chopped off at some point. That thing was nuts. So, like, if they do that in the feature Aquaman film, which will be coming after Justice League, which is actually being directed by James Wan, who, did Saw, amongst other horror movies. Like, that's... Yeah,
Wow.
I'm pumped for everything about the new Aquaman. And I also like that if you've seen the, the one sheet where it shows the entire Justice League in their full outfits and whatnot, that even though his outfit is definitely different, There are subdued colors of orange and green on his.
Sure.
I guess chain mail,
Scale
aqua
mail, I guess.
scale. Yeah, scale mail. That's probably the most appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. You know, you get a little bit of the traditional coloration in there. That's fine. Good.
Yeah,
Great.
indeed.
I
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The old look of Aquaman was just it was just so cartoony.
Yeah. Well, it is indeed a thing. Alrighty, so we're running a little short on time, so we can really only pick one thing to talk about amongst ourselves. We have our choice of either talking about the Ghostbusters 2016 film, or popping over into gaming, and either I talk about a little game called Astroneers. I forget what your topic was, and Jessica had a topic as well in that category.
really wanted to talk about World Adrift.
Okay.
I'm willing to be outvoted.
We need to cut this short to like 15 minutes. So let's just quick fire. Let's quick fire. We'll do I'm going to start a watch. I'm going to start a timer.
Okay.
And we're going to just do 5 minutes each. All right.
All right.
Let me get some sort of loud form of thing here.
It totally just buzz me when it's done. Shall I start?
All right. You have 5 minutes to talk about Worlds Adrift and convince everybody, including the people sitting here. Go.
Okay, cool. So Worlds Adrift is essentially Minecraft in a big, wide, open skyscape. Imagine you've got.
He's already won me, so.
What?
You already won me.
I already won you?
Yeah.
There we go. Good. All right. I got one.
Like
I got one.
Yeah.
The idea of Worlds Adrift is that
I already seen footage of it. I'm a cheater.
Okay. Okay, we're totally cutting you off. Go. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Cool. So imagine you've got this big, wide skyscape. In all directions, you see sky and clouds. Below you is sort of a storm. If you go down too far, you like die because of pressure or whatever. But there's no land except for these like islands. There are islands around, and you can kind of fly to these islands. And you go on these islands, and there's trees, and there's animals, and there's like you can mine metals and things like that. And what you do with that is you can build airships. They're kind of steampunky floating airships, and you can kind of make them in your own shape and whatever design you want. It's not so much like Minecraft, like you can alter the whole environment, but you've got total freedom of ship design. So instead of like Minecraft is a really good example because it's this sort of, it's this big infinite world where you can build anything, but they're all static things, Worlds Adrift is a physics game.
Ooh,
Everything
I like physics.
Yeah, physics. Everything's physics. Every object in the game is a physics object. If you fire a cannonball, it's a physics cannonball, and it does damage depending on like how hard it hits the other thing and how much energy is transferred.
You can't see this audience or Keenan because this is an audio show. But were you to observe Jessica, and were she to have a tail, she is wagging it.
Just
excitedly.
I like physics. Okay, I took it senior year in high school, and I've loved it ever since. Physics.
That's awesome. I have more.
Ooh, tell me more.
Okay, good. You get around the world by, you use like a sort of a wing pack to sort of glide. If you don't have a ship, you can glide from island to island. And you also have a grappling hook, so you can shoot a line to something and then sort of swing around Spider-Man style. The main way you get around the world is Spider-Man style swinging. That's what you do to travel. It's awesome. I've actually gotten into alpha. I've played alpha gameplay. It's really cool. The thing about it is that for the fact that it's a physics simulation and that it's Minecraft style in the way you can kind of build and create ships in any shape you want with components where you want them, the whole thing is massively multiplayer. There's going to be, so far they've announced 2 shards. There's going to be a North American server and an EU server. That means
they've announced 2 shards?
Shards. A shard is like a server, like a version of a world. Like World of Warcraft has got hundreds of shards, hundreds of servers that you can play on. I think it's
I've
hundreds
just
now.
never heard them referred to as shards. I've heard them referred to as like locational servers. You know, like US West server has a group, and US East has a group.
Exactly. They're regional servers, and
Okay.
each one is like its own copy of the world. Now there are
Tracking.
several things. There are several things about it, like permanence. Like if you crash a ship and like your ship parts go all over an island, if somebody else comes by that island weeks later, they're going to see exactly what you left there, and they're going to be able to pick up those parts and maybe build a new ship. If they pick up a log or a map or something that you left behind, they're going to see where you've been. They're going to see your history. Your story is told by what you leave behind. So there's a permanence to the world itself.
Have you seen that actually work?
I have. I was flying around in the alpha, and I actually found places where people had built ships. I found a dead ship that was floating and obviously had lost a battle. You know, it was a damaged ship, and it had one floating device left on it, but that was barely enough to keep it kind of hanging there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of sitting there at an odd angle. It was kind of eerie to like see that in the fog, this dead ship just sort of floating there. It made me sort of like look around and see if there was somebody around who was going to shoot me up. And who knows how long that had been there? It could have been there for hours or a day or however long. It wasn't a very long test. They're doing very short alpha tests, kind of short burst stuff. That particular test was a stress.
Time's up.
Holy damn, that's loud. All right, anyway, I think I've said enough.
Apologies.
I think I've said enough. That's a wrap on World. You're sold?
He seems
I'm sold.
very happy.
Yeah.
That's great. You should join my group.
Down.
I've got an alliance I've got a group that I made for the in game. They're called the Harbormen.
Cool.
Check them out.
Pimp it fast. We got to give more time.
Fast. Basically, Harbormen are anti-griefers. They want to like help people and stop people from making the game less awesome for other players.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Cool.
And we're a PC gamer. I want to burn them all. Anyway, moving on.
We would shoot people like Tim.
I would join you.
Okay, awesome.
There we go.
I see how it is.
I love you.
All right, you ready?
Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just going to talk about the new Resident Evil 7 because I saw the trailer finally for that. And my whole spiel on it was I don't know where it's going because they've really destroyed my Resident Evil series over the past, 2 games since 4. Because 4 was fucking awesome.
4 was good, and then it started going downhill at 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. After
Okay.
4, they destroyed my series.
Okay. You're correct.
Listen.
All right. I am.
Hey, listen.
I didn't like 5 either.
I didn't even
5 was-
finish 5 because I was so pissed off at that game. It felt more like a Tomb Raider. And I'm like, if I wanted to play Tomb Raider, I would have popped in Tomb Raider, not Resident Evil.
Guys, it was okay co-op. She's giving me a look right now. All right.
Anyway, but from what I can tell in the trailer, I don't know where they're going with it. It seems like cannibals, these, I don't even know what you would call them in Resident Evil world, zombies, infected, whatever. They have intelligence now.
And they have that in 5?
I don't remember that in 5.
I thought that was the whole thing in 5, was
I
they
don't
were like
remember.
smarter zombies.
Well, I'm talking like they actually talk and make sentences.
Oh.
Like cohere, like the end a trailer. I don't know who you are, if you're the main character or not, but you're strapped to a seat and you're surrounded by these infected, and they're talking like they're at a fucking dinner table, and they do go nutso, but they have coherent sentences and they are very self-aware. And so I don't know how this is going to go, because in the trailer seemed really spooky and scary, like 4 had for me, because 4 scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But the gameplay that I've been able to see, which is very little right now, but a little bit of it, it's not that scary. And I'm a little disappointed.
Well, I have a little bit to say on that, since there's just a touch of time. I've not played it yet, but as of E3 2016, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, where they revealed the video games. Capcom released a fully playable first, I guess, hour or 30 minutes of the game on PlayStation 4, which is playable right now and downloadable right now if you want to play it. I've not played it because Resident Evil 7 is the first major franchise game to be playable from start to finish in VR. And there's actually a patch issued for it last week that made it compatible with the PlayStation VR. So next week is when I'm going to be checking that out. Because the things that I heard about it when it was being demoed at PAX in VR was that it was so scary it made you throw up. So.
Oh, I heard the opposite. I heard it wasn't that scary. That everything,
Hmm.
all the jump scares were very predictable in the demo. That things were just, it wasn't as scary as the trailer made it seem.
Well, I guess we will have to both check it out next week.
Yes.
Indeed. Anything else to add on that?
No.
Oh yeah, when's it out?
It's supposed to be released January 24th of 2017.
Which is hella soon, really.
Yeah.
Which means it must be ridiculously long in development. Like
I'm just sad because you're going to make me play on the PlayStation.
Well, yeah. VR.
Ugh.
Alrighty. Nothing else to add?
No.
You have a minute 13? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm short and sweet, sorry.
X-Files song. Alrighty, so my bit is a little indie darling called Astroneers. Astroneers is a procedural, completely physical and physics-based third-person survival in space. It's basically a little bit of No Man's Sky meets the Matt Damon movie The Martian meets like the bestest Minecraft you've ever seen. And what it is you have no on-screen UI. Everything is done in-game in 3D. You can see your backpack. Right now it's on PC, but I talked to the developers there who are all ex-Halo developers who worked on the Halo franchise. And they are... they basically told me that it's going to hit early access on PC in December. They're targeting a full release a few months after that. And then they're going to bring on a separate team for special optimizations for both PS4 and Xbox One. They said because they come from a console background, it's very important to them that their game is as uncompromised as possible between PC and PS4 and Xbox One. But one of the hooks of the game is other than the fact that it's really hardcore survival. Like you have like air hoses and you have to build more air hoses and you have to mine things to like make things like solar panels and food generators and things like that. And windstorms can come and blow your habitat away and you have to build your habitat again. And I'm trying to channel Keenan right now. And you got to build like all the things and do all of the stuffs. And it's just so fucking flippin' cool. And like anything you see and you pick up, it goes into your backpack and you can see it on a slot, on a grid on your backpack. No UI, and you can just reach in with the mouse. It has a mouse interface presently because it's right now it's only on PC. And you just like pick it up and you click it and you grab it and you drag it out and you put it to stuff and it magnetizes to the thing and it does the thing that you want to do when you do it. It controls marvelously. And the mining is a little bit different. It's way better than Minecraft, and I would say, better than even No Man's Sky with its multi-tool space laser. It's basically like a space vacuum, like they basically stole it from Luigi's Mansion or something, but then it's all interacts and deforms the terrain, so you can basically just vacuum out a hole or vacuum up whatever it is you need to mine very quickly, very fast. It's very fluid. But then alternately, you can put it in reverse and you can build out, much like a terrain generator. If anybody's ever played with a map generator in a game, you can build out things. So you could build examples and videos you can see of the game online. You can build sort of a wall out of dirt to protect yourself from dust storms that come and like wreck your things. And there'll be other environmental effects. And they're also looking at adding alien life, as well as there is indeed a little bit of a story. You're working for a space mining corporation when things have gone awry. It is 100% procedurally generated, but right now they're only generating a solar system. I think they said to me they're like a handful of planets that they want to be procedural, so they'll be different for everybody, but that their particular algorithms for those particular handful of planets will be very ultra varied and have many biomes. And that is Astroneer. Oh, and full co-op, 4-player co-op online.
Tim, I was listening the whole time, and while you were talking, I was looking at videos and pictures on my tablet here.
It's about time.
Yeah, about time. Tim's been telling me to do that for 2-3 weeks now, ever since PAX, basically.
No, I've been telling it to you since May when I first found out about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That is how irresponsible a friend I am. Everyone know that Meister Keen is that irresponsible. It's terrible. I'm awful. But anyway, I just watched that. I was looking at the pictures here and listening to your description, and God, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
I would play the everything out of this.
Yeah, I need to get I need to get a cheap PC to run it in December, it would seem.
I'm just like
so December is when it comes out.
2 space.
Yeah, early access December.
3 physics.
Early access starts. Game. So it's not currently playable?
You cannot buy it right now.
You can't buy it. You can't play it. There's just no way.
There, early access release early December. I think the release date's on Steam right now.
So I can't have it yet.
But yeah, no.
You got him excited for nothing.
Tim,
I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to wait to December.
I don't want to. Tim, you are hurting
all of the games,
my heart.
like all of the games that got delayed to December, like The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15. You're just gonna have to wait, okay?
It hurts, Tim.
It hurts me that I have to get a fucking PC for it, and then.
And Tim's been waiting a lot longer.
But to be fair, in talking with them, I asked them what type of PC they were running it on. It was really modest, so I could probably get like what's that computer company with the cows on it? I could get like a Gateway or something, if that's even still a thing.
Does Gateway even make PCs?
I don't know. I was doing it as a joke, basically. The bit failed.
Cheap,
move on.
Laptop or something.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they had real modest specs for it. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, what was that?
I could build you a machine that would work just fine for this.
Well, there you go. Maybe I'll throw some money at you and be like, hey, make me a thing.
And I will salute and I will say, yes, sir.
Here's what it has to do. It has to play Astroneers and Worlds Adrift. When's Worlds Adrift coming out, by the way?
Worlds Adrift, fuzzy. It's hard to say. Okay. They want to go into closed beta, I think, before the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
So right around the time that Astroneer is going to come out, I'm going to be very busy testing the hell out of Worlds Adrift.
Oh, okay.
Closed like continual beta. Right now the alpha tests are like short. They've done like 48-hour and 24-hour tests. Now they're going to do a test for like a week or 2 weeks.
Do they have planned to release on console?
Currently it's all PC. I don't see any console plans.
Okay.
I could see this game though. I could see it. There might be some interface issues, but I could see it on like PS4.
Okay.
Like I could see it porting to PS4 without too much trouble. If it gets really big, of course you're going to see it. Somebody's going to snap it up. Like Sony could easily look at this thing and go.
Yeah, I mean it definitely seems like one of those games, much like Astroneers, that either Microsoft or Sony would be like, "Hey, we want your exclusivity. Come, here's money. Let us wave you. Let us fan you. Let us waft it."
The things that you can do in Worlds of... You remember I said there's a grappling hook?
Yeah, indeed. But hey...
And then there's cannons. Wait.
But we so over time,
you can launch yourself by firing a cannon and then grappling to the cannonball as it flies.
That's pretty cool.
I know,
It doesn't
right?
break your arm?
Apparently not. Apparently it does not kill your character to do that, which it doesn't make any sense, but it's a thing you can do.
Well, that's good that they're going for fun physics rather than realistic physics.
Yeah.
Well,
Physics they opted out of.
Oh yeah. Speaking of physics and ragdolls, in Astroneer, I think I fell down a hole or I tripped down a mountain or something, because that's a thing you can
And
do.
Tim died.
And like I died, and like they have like very like NASA-y spacesuits, very fluffy. I mean, you watched the trailer, but for those listening at home or in the car or about to jump off a building, please don't do that. Like they trip over things and like they hurt themselves badly, and like they spring air leaks and stuff, and it was very entertaining. And I did that, and I was like, hey, I think I just killed my Astroneer. Is that supposed to happen? And they're like, yeah, we're still thinking on that, but we're pretty sure we're at least going to leave the ragdolls in because they look funny as fuck, right? And I was like, yeah, they do. So that's a thing. Well, alrighty, that brings us to the end of another hopefully fantastic episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host as always, Tim K.A. Trotter, signing off. But before I do, I want to make sure you all check out our website at www.dynamicworksproductions.com, where you can find all the things that I'm up to. I'm a published author. I wrote a book called The Citadel Arrival, available right now on Amazon Kindle and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99. Buy a book, support this show. Free samples are available in each respective markets. And it's a science fiction adventure styled after the 1950s novellas and pulps. So check that out. I also do another podcast, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Rising Tide, a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. You can check that out for all of your news and views on anything and all things Marvel. We also cover comics as well on there if you're into that and looking for the whole package deal. Yeah, that's it. That's basically what I got. I have a thing for the email, but I need to pull it up on my phone because the way I'm recording this is far away from my computer. It's way off in the distance over there. So why don't you two sign off and pimp anything you two want to pimp while I get sort of the fact sheet on where all you can connect and send emails and tweet at the Fork in Your Ear. Go team, go.
Keenan.
That was me. Hello, this has been Meister Keen. Check me out on the World's Adrift forums. Check out the game. Check out my group, the Harbormen. I have a YouTube channel. I occasionally upload some cool things on YouTube. I'm Meister Keen on YouTube as well. That's that.
Fantastic. And I got that data for y'all here. You can, of course, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Fork in Your Ear podcast, or just type The Fork in Your Ear podcast. You can tweet at us at GetForkedPod. That's GetForkedPod. Yes, you read that right. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or want to hear your questions, comments, or concerns read on the show, probably by me or Keenan, or maybe even Jessica in a funny voice, you can email us at theforkinyourearpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's theforkinyourearpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, we are available on iTunes and Libsyn and whatever the hell Microsoft is calling their Zune thing. What's it called now? Groove, I think? Maybe? I guess Groove. As well as Podbean and 1,000 other services. We're everywhere. Just, look for us in your respective podcast market. Jessica.
Oh, that's my turn.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you can't find me anywhere other than the...
She doesn't exist.
I don't exist anywhere, but
This is not a real person.
Yeah, you can't contact me anywhere.
She does not have a tail.
But if you do like my voice, I do do some little spiels on the Marvel podcast as well. So if you want more of my voice, you can go over there. Otherwise, sayonara.
It's a fine voice. I like it.
Thank you.
Indeed. Well, until next time, get forked. Cut!
Cut!
And we out.
Sweet.
Hey!
Yay! We
That
did
was
it.
successful.
Ow, my arm. Dead.
Well,
Ow.
it's not my fault you put it behind me. That is all your fault.
Dead. But I had a good
Why are you going that way? Why don't you go this? You can't.
I don't know.
Don't lift that cable. Go over these cables.
Hey.
I don't think.
Oh, not that cable! Get out.
Guys, that was tons of fun.
Fantastic. Did you like it, Keenan?
I did.
She's out of the room. She went to the bathroom.
I enjoyed recording this.
Awesome.
Good.
Can we make
Still
it?
recording it?
Can we make it a good? Because so am I.
Well, so what? Like every Wednesday, something like that?
Yeah, that works. I like them earlier in the week because I don't want to fucking do podcasts on the weekends.
I can possibly do every Wednesday. If I can't do a Wednesday,
You told me Wednesdays. Saturday. I have your thing. It is written.
I usually can do Wednesdays.
Okay.
Usually, but I also have to keep up my YouTube channel. So I will try to. I promise to have either a Wednesday or a Saturday for you. And I think that can be weekly. You can have this. This show can be weekly with me.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be weekly.
Right.
Because like I said, the other dudes totally want to do it, but they're East Coast. Really hard to get things fucking lined up for that. Unless they want to do it on fucking 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm like, dudes.
How dare they? How dare they live in another place?
I know.
I am offended. I want to speak to Life's manager.
Is his name Jerry? I feel like Life's manager would be called Jerry. Just what I feel.
I would say Jared.
Indeed.
Jared Hoffman.
Hoffman? Okay.
Hoffman.
Well, alrighty, Keenan.
Mr. Hoffman, your thing, all of this is an affront. I am offended. I am offended. Did you just assume my gender?
Yes.
Good. There we go.
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, Keenan's really loud then.
Well, I'm right next to your earphone, so.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm hoping it didn't bleed through on the recording. I should have probably checked that. I don't think he's that loud.
No. I couldn't hear him when I was next to you.
We will find out.
So right. I did record all this at my end. I'm looking at the waveform, though, and it's a pretty low-profile waveform that I'm putting out. So I'm going to have to check the quality of my recording. In fact, I'm going to stop it right now.
That's not a problem for me. I have gain adjusters.
Well, fine.
Yeah, I've got the fancy tech, remember? With the pros and the logics and the X's.
All right, so I'm going to export the audio.
Yeah, and do it in the absolute highest quality possible.
You want a FLAC?
No, God, no.
You want?
FLAC. Can you do a CAF or an AIFF?
AIFF?
Yeah. You probably can't do CAF, but AIFF's the next best thing. Not that I have anything particularly against FLAC, but I just have to convert it again, and less converting is better.
It is an AIFF, and I am right now saving it as such.
Nice. What kilobit rate did you record at? Do you know?
I don't know. Am I supposed to know this?
Probably figure that out. I guess it's a thing I didn't talk about in the email.
44,100 hertz.
Okay, that's your hertz, but what's your kilobit rate?
Kilobit rate.
Because the hertz determines the frequency, and the kilobit rate determines the quality of the audio.
Hang on. Work on oct. Okay. It is processing and will be processing for the next 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, I gotta let you go in the meantime, dude, though.
Huh?
I gotta let you go in the meantime, though.
Okay.
People's gotta go back and get to works and stuff.
I have work early in the morning.
Yeah, she works super early in the morning.
Okay, fine. You guys go, air quotes, sleep or whatever.
Only one of them will be sleeping, and it will be far away from me. I, on the other hand, shall return to the lair and miss the person who is staring at my, like, side flesh.
I'm not staring at you.
Well, your head is so close. What else are you looking at?
I'm not even looking at anything. My eyes are closed.
Oh, okay. And then I shall return to thy lair and probably watch *Halt and Catch Fire*, which you should. I've been telling you for 3 years now, Keenan. You need to watch.
It's what?
*Halt and Catch Fire*.
*Halt and Catch Fire*.
Yes, it's a.
With Lee Pace.
Yeah, it's got Lee Pace, the dude who is the bad guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
And the
Halt
lead in
and Catch Fire.
*Halt and Catch Fire*.
Okay, got it. I just wrote it down.
Yeah, it's the period piece drama about the computer revolution in the 80s. It's fucking phenomenal.
Dude.
It's
that's
they
amazing.
follow a fictional company, but get impacted by like all these different things, and it's like, you know, and each season's a little bit different in a different tech area. The first season's all about trying to be an IBM clone. And then because of the time era, you know, getting sort of punched in the face by the original Macintosh. And then the second season's all about gaming revolution. And they're all trying to do all these different things. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to do all these things. And then quietly in the background, they're hearing about this little console from Japan called a Nintendo. And the third season, which is about halfway through now, is all about online infrastructures and things in Silicon Valley. It's utterly fascinating, utterly well written and acted. It's one of my favorite shows, and perhaps guilty pleasure.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I was going to crack a joke and say, yeah, I'll totally check that out. Never.
No, it's a show for you and me, Keenan. Like we are its audience, like hands down. It's fantastic.
I will check that the fuck out.
I tried to get you to do a podcast on it when it first came out. I was like, oh man, this would be great because you build computers and I like them and can talk about them. And you're like, yeah. And then I was like, yay. And I was like, hey, did you see the first episode? And you're like,
nope.
Nah.
And
then I was like, hey, did you see the fifth episode? You're like, nah, man. And then I was like, hey, the first season's on Netflix. And you're like, man, I'll get to it eventually. As things go. It's okay. I don't hold it against you. Much.
Okay. All right. You guys.
Yeah, I gotta let you go.
Run along.
Yeah, all right. Wait, what? Oh, you're behind me now?
No, phone's behind you.
Oh, the phone's behind me.
Hmm.
I shouldn't have said that. What are you sitting on right now?
Like the very corner of the chair.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. All right, Keenan. Catch you later.
Okay.
Shoot me a text when that thing is uploaded, and you've sent me a thing to look for it.
Okay.
On the drive. Don't care the time. Go ahead and send me the text whenever.
Okay. I just finished. I just finished doing the thing.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I have to let you go though.
Okay.
That's what I've been saying for like the last 5 minutes. Bye, Keenan.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
Why, hello.
Oh dear Christ, that's loud.
Oh, okay. Give me a moment.
Yeah, that was so unbelievably loud for a whisper. I felt you were right here, inside my ear.
And speaker? No.
Did you install your software and find your gain adjustment or something?
It turns out there is no software. I was imagining things.
Well, that sounds dreadful.
No. It's okay. I found the solution. The whole problem was that I got to change my mic levels here.
It's cool. I'm just I forgot to clean off all of my or at least my most recent downloaded videos from my iTunes onto my server drive. So I'm about 75% transferring them over to the drive, so I have enough room to record the audio.
Is that better?
Little soft.
It's too soft now.
Is that better?
I like that better.
It's super soft, and then there's like a white noise when you are not talking.
There's a white noise when I'm not talking. That's weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like pretty significant white noise. Not an intolerable white noise, like it's quite gentle white noise, but it is indeed a white noise.
Reminds me of the ocean.
Well,
Yeah.
This looks the right level to be at. Is this...
Oh yeah, level-wise, that sounds fantastic.
Okay, so the level's good. All right, we're on.
Well, until you did that. Then you went out of range on my end. Red all over the bars. Hello?
Okay. In that case...
Maybe go down just a hair or whatever?
Yup. That's what I'm going to do. Hang on. Conversation. No, wait. Call. Audio settings. All right. How's that? This is my usual radio announcer voice.
It looks good on the monitor.
It looks good on the monitor. That's good. Thank you, Tim.
Sorry,
He's over by the desk.
I wonder how it sounds like if I were to step away from the microphone a little bit.
Try
you
it.
know.
Try it. Good.
All right. I can't hear you because I took off my headphones. Now I'm way over here.
Super soft.
because it's far away.
Yeah. Amazing how that works.
All right. How was that?
Welcome back. It was good. Fine.
Okay.
Far.
Hey, by the way, Keenan.
Yeah, what?
Meet, at least not in the physical form, but meet Jessica.
Jessica. Hello,
Hi!
Jessica.
Oh.
Hi.
Ow. I have monitor headphones in. Children, please. Think of my eardrums.
How do you know Tim, Jessica?
What?
How do you know Tim?
He's kind of my boyfriend.
Oh, you're that
Plot twist. Dun, dun, dun.
dun.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Cue the Star Trek dramatic noise.
Which one is that? Isn't that there's like a little drum? I feel like I should know this one. I should know this one.
You should. You're the Trekkie.
She's more of a
Okay,
Star
hang
Wars
on.
person.
There was
my Darth Vader t-shirt.
really funny thing.
She has like a tie-dye Darth Vader t-shirt.
It's like totally 70s, yo.
Yeah.
With my bleach stain on it.
Oh, is that what that is? I just thought that was
yeah.
I thought that was part of the thing.
It matches with the color scheme, so hey.
Ready. 16.5 gigabytes offloaded in 15. Yep. I'll disconnect my 13 USB ports. Eliminate the noise that comes from. Are you still with us, Keenan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just have to ask because anytime you don't talk, there is that ocean white noise.
It's soothing. Making me sleepy.
It is a little soothing, I'm not gonna lie. Like if the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man had one of the snow channels on TV. whatever the fuck that means. Was that white noise always there, Keenan?
I don't know what white noise you're talking about. That's got to be coming from. It's got to be coming from Skype or something. I don't know, because I don't hear it when I record on this end. Like I just recorded the cleanest recording I've ever recorded on this end. I debugged my sound. My mic isn't producing anything like that.
Hey, did you want to, since it is just us, did you want to do the thing we briefly talked about on Monday, and you record a stream as well, in case I can't clean up your snow?
Oh yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be.
I will record at my end.
Yeah, record on your end as well. That'd be fantastic. You will be the first person ever to have done that. Minus some times when I've recorded with some other podcast people who have their own podcast.
So feel privileged.
You should shake your fist at him to let him know that you're
What?
privileged.
Oh.
So are you all ready to go on your end, Keenan?
Oh, this is great. I found a track of all the music of the original Star Trek series.
That's not entirely surprising to me. So are you ready to go with your topics and your
let's see my topics.
Your secondary recording?
Let me make notes here, because my first topic, the life topic, is going to be PAX, working at PAX.
Oh, that'd be an awesome one.
Technology,
he works at PAX.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know nothing about this guy other than his name.
Would you say you're what kind of a chested man, Keenan?
I am a large barrel-chested man.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
But just to be clear, Jessica, you prefer the svelter, more
Yes, I made this clear.
rugged looking chested men, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We wouldn't want to start. Hey, you are not allowed to touch there during podcasting.
Tim, I'm happy for you.
It's off podcasting. Not fair.
All right. I've actually got the Skype options console open, so I can dynamically alter my output volume. It seems to adjust, it seems to update in real time.
Oh, that sounds sexy.
Sorry. I just thought of that. I just thought of the bit from Silence of the Lambs. I'm a terrible podcaster, honestly.
You really are. I'm putting all my shit over here.
Okay, what were the other topics? Because it was life, technology, and there were two other categories.
And games.
Entertainment. Entertain me, fellas. Entertainment. All right.
I love this singing. Great. I love it. I can't sing to save my fucking life, so.
All right, I got nothing on technology, but on entertainment, I have watched the first half of the first episode of Luke Cage.
Oh, don't tell us anything. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we were gonna watch it.
So far.
We were gonna watch it tonight. But yeah.
So far, I like.
That's good. That's good.
So I might touch on it and dangle some spoilers out there for you.
Let's not do that, since I have a dedicated Marvel podcast.
Oh, come on, man. I've watched 20 minutes. It's nothing I can spoil.
Well, I watched 0 minutes, okay?
You know,
It's
correction.
not a
We.
competition, Tim. It never was. All right.
Apparently it is
Gaming.
now.
World's
That's what
Adrift.
you know.
Oh, yeah. Someday, Tim, I'll love my revenge.
That was fantastic. I am now going to write a new character that can use that voice for the future.
Next time, get it. Anyway. And then, of course, there's Skeletor. Yeah!
Well, that's perfect. That was a perfect Skeletor. Yeah, it's just gonna squish me. Ah.
Okay. This is Tim T testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. This is my normal radio voice, and this is my loud, excited voice. Oh my god, Google I/O was super underwhelming. Yeah,
Oh, it's my turn.
yeah, you gotta do the
Okay.
thing.
And this is my normal voice talking, blah, 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 blah. And this is a louder voice. How is that going, Tim? Better? Good? Longer? How should I?
It looks reasonably acceptable
Okay.
on the thing over there. I don't know why I'm yelling at a louder thing. It must be. I'm trying to hear myself over the ocean noise,
Not that bad.
which is somewhat. Oh, that's a little off center. Should I move that a little to the right?
You're the pro at this, man.
All right, Tim, tell me when to record at my end.
Okay,
Is that better for you, Tim?
a little better.
Okay.
It's gonna get hot as fucking hell.
Well, human heater. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, just in general, because like everything's off and all the fans are off.
Right.
With the offnesses of the fans.
Is it an offense?
You're an offense.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah. Yeah. Exit stage left. Get one of those cane thingies.
Ah.
Okay.
And this is Meister Keenan testing his dark, chocolatey radio voice.
Nope,
I
not
call it-
chocolatey at all.
Oh, it's like velvet.
It's like maybe
I
velvet,
call it
not like chocolate.
sex with a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid my microphone is far more phallic shaped than your little chestnut. There, Keenster.
The chestnut-sized microphone,
Indeed.
more appropriately sized for the discerning woman.
She's laughing. She's a fit of giggles right now. Thanks. Thanks.
He's got a very good voice, okay?
He does have a fucking good voice. I told you. You gotta learn to listen to me on these things.
All right, so that was my lower, less excited voice. And this is when I'm really on about something. This is when I'm excited.
Fantastic.
There you
You're
go.
still reasonably in range
Hey, good.
there.
Good. I can even move the mic back a little bit.
Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Are you good?
Okay, good. By the way, I
Are you
am
really-
recording on my end. You
Fantastic.
should be
Okay,
able to
hear it.
sync this up in some reasonable way, should you need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just throw it on some form of like a Dropbox or a Google Drive or something and shoot me a link.
I will Google Drive it to you.
Yeah.
I can even clap at my end so you have some spikes.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Actually, I'll need that now that I think about it. I wouldn't
There we
have
go.
it on that end.
You're gonna see 3 interesting spikes on the waveform at about the 2.5 minute mark.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been recording for. Well, I have 2 different recordings going right now. I have the Skype call, and then I have the backup one running through Logic. So they're running at different intervals. But anyway,
I'm recording with Audacity.
That's what I use.
you used Audacity?
I told you.
Because
voice
I am
acting stuff that
audacious.
did. I use Audacity for it.
I am as audacious as my
What?
voice is sexy.
What? You're giving me a look. Why are you giving me a look?
It was a contemplative look, okay?
What
Alrighty.
is that supposed to mean?
All right, so here's how this is gonna go, kids.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about life stuffs
Yeah.
first. We'll do like a round robin-y thing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh, you do? You don't have anything like?
Not that I think that
Well,
anyone
if
would care
something
about.
comes to mind while me and Keenan talk about our life thingies, feel free to bring it up. And then wait.
Want to pull it up?
No, this is the thing that I sent everybody
Mm-hmm.
earlier. What the fuck is my there?
My fractured space video got a lot of views. I mean,
That's
more
cute.
views than the other things.
Oh, really? I liked your space engineer. Okay, so we're gonna do life first, then technology, then entertainment, and we'll leave gaming to last.
I can only really touch on Luke Cage. I'll see if I can come up with another topic.
Well, Jessica brought up a very good thing.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but the new Pirates of the Caribbean teaser trailer just dropped the other day.
Ooh, I saw it. I saw it.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up today.
Well, there you go. We can all giddily talk about that. And I brought up to her when I was bringing her over here. He's physically in the studio right next to me,
Mm-hmm.
petting my cheek. You can't do that. You can't stop it. I brought up to her that you served on the Lady of Washington.
I did. I worked on the Lady Washington for about half a year.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's a good one to bring up there when we get to talk all about that. Many a great stories. I'm sure you have them just loaded in your back pocket. Sprung and trapped, or the trap that is sprung.
Do you want stories about that?
Maybe we'll see when we get there. All right.
Okay. No, I do have one hilarious and questionably legal story.
I think I've heard this. Did it involve oil?
Yes.
Yes.
He told me about that.
I told her a little bit about that.
Oh no, you got to hear it from me.
Oh yeah, no, he's an excellent storyteller. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
Keenan's very excellent. Okay, cool. So, since you're also recording on your end, I'll tell you what, Keenan. When I yell my loud cuts that you're probably familiar with, that I yell, yeah,
Cut.
yeah, those
That one?
ones.
Yeah, that one.
If you could yell cut on your end at the same, well, not at the same time, but like almost as soon as possible, right after that, that would be fantastic. And then I can pick up the audio.
Okay.
Ready? All right, so we're gonna begin this. We're gonna begin this shit. Okay.
All right, let's begin this shit.
All right. Here we go. Cut in.
Cut.